What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm MoedotJ and we are locked in. This is a new TV series on Netflix called America Primeval. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first seen the trailer for this, and I even told other people, I'm probably not gonna watch it. But as I sat there and watched the first episode, I said, this is pretty damn entertaining. The acting is good and the storyline seems to be grade A. Now, this show is about a mother and a son fleeing from their past while confronting the harsh landscape of freedom and cruelty in the American West. Now, there is a lot of moving parts in here and characters, so I will be giving nicknames like I always do, but you have the American military, you have different Native American tribes, you have Mormons, you have mercenaries, you have all kinds of stuff going on here, and there's many moving parts, as I said, but all of the storylines come back together and make one big story. So before we jump into this and we break this down, if you like shows that are out in the wild west, then hit your subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button. We're 15 days into the year and we got 15 uploads from 15 different episodes of different shows, and we're just going to try to continue this thing throughout the season, or should I say throughout the year. But let's go ahead and jump into it. This is America Primeval, episode 1 on Netflix. Utah Territory, 1857. Wild and untamed. Starting the episode off, we get introduced to Sara and her son Devin. Now, Devin is kind of like Forrest Gump before he got the braces taken off. So he does have a brace on his leg, and you can hear it when he walks. But you can tell that Sara is antsy. They're sitting around. They're waiting on someone to pick them up and escort them further west. They are in a desolate town in Missouri because they're on the run from the East Coast after what happened with her and her prior family. So they're just sitting around, and Devin's like, man, this doesn't look anything like Philadelphia. Yeah, this is Missouri. This is the show me stay. It ain't nothing there really, but I love it because that's where I'm from. Somebody comes and finally picks up Sara. Now, they're supposed to be meeting at Jim Bridger's to a Mr. Beckworth. Now, this gentleman is like, okay, let's get ready to go. She's like, we're late. And he looks and says, we may be late. Don't worry about that. But who is this little boy? Because the deal was that I was only transporting you. She's like, man, no one will care. Just bring him, and then I give you some money now. And once we get to Jim Bridger's fort, I'll give you the rest of the money. So the dude's kind of iffy, like, man, I don't know. This isn't what I signed up for. It was just to deliver you. At the Bridger fort, you start to see that civilization is less and less. It's not like Philadelphia and Boston where you got actual buildings. It's all wooden out here, and it's yeah, it's every man for himself. But we do see this young native girl, and she doesn't do any talking, but she takes a knife and runs off. And everyone else, you got you got a blacksmith acting like he's a doctor. So this is not a place that you want to get injured at. Once they get here, they're looking around. Remember, they're from civilization. They're out in the wild west, the Midwest right now. Well, the guy that escorted them, he ends up getting into it with a French guy, and they end up killing each other. This is Jim Bridger here, and Jim Bridger's like, well, whoever that guy was, don't worry about it. Mr. Beckworth isn't here at the moment, but we'll toss those bodies away because this is how they were living. And then they were like, the French guy, go ahead and hang him up so the town to see. If you start messing around, then you gonna find out. So Jim Bridger, he's in charge of this whole fort. And Sara, she's nervous. She's like, well, I need to meet Mr. Beckworth. I need to get to Crook Springs, and I need to just get out of here as fast as possible. Devin is an ambitious kid. He's from the city, so he's out here. He didn't witness his first body, his first day out here in Missouri. And he's just looking, and his mom, she's like, Devin, get in here. You don't need to see that. You need to come in here right now. No one else in the town even batted an eye. This is just everyday stuff. You know, you might see a duel one day. You might see someone get slapped over a game of poker. You never know. But this is the wild west, and this is how we live in. Wild. Sara's trying to find out what alternative routes they can take without Mr. Beckworth to make it out to Crook Springs, because they're allegedly meeting up with Devin's father. Now, Jim, he's looking at her and saying, let me be honest with you. You're going to go out there, you may get attacked by ravaging savages. You might get attacked by Mormons. The military might get you. There's wolves, there's bears. You got to go through this crazy terrain. There's mountains, there's snow, there's wind. It's pretty much impossible to do on your own. You might want to wait till the springtime comes. Jim comes up with an idea. If you really want to make it to Crook Springs, I might have someone that can take you there. So as they leave in the town, they see the guy hung up and they go into the woods. Now you hear Jim say, "Hey, it's Bridger, don't shoot." But what do you hear? You hear a shot go off, and we meet a gentleman by the name of Isaac Reed. Now Isaac, he's out here, he's washing up in the woods. He's really by himself. He's a lone wolf. And he's like, "Well, can you take this woman to Crook Springs?" He said, "I don't have any business in Crook Springs." So you can tell how Isaac is living. Isaac Reed, he's kind of a lone wolf. So he ain't really trying to be bothered with nobody, and he knows the dangers going to Crook Springs. Remember the Mormons I was mentioning? Well, here goes a group of them. This is Jacob Pratt, that is, and his wife Abish Pratt, and a couple of the other Mormons. Now, what they're doing right now is gathering up supplies to continue out west. Now, when they're in here, people are cracking a little bit of jokes because we know that Utah is like the Mormon capital of the United States of America. That's where they're actually trying to get. Now, while they're here, they're getting harassed by some of the people because they're not Mormons and they just think that Mormons are different and kind of weird. But Jacob is getting some materials so they can head on out and go live the life that they're supposed to live. Since Isaac Reed turned down taking them to Crook Springs because he knows the dangers and he doesn't have any business out there, Sara goes over to talk to Jacob Pratt. And she's saying, "Hey, can you take me and my son to Crook Springs?" He said, "We not going that far. We stopping before Crook Springs. We stopping in Utah." Now he's turning her down, but his wife Abish is like, "Nah, let's take her. We could do that. Let's bring them along. That's what the Lord will want from us." Jacob's like, "Man, you don't do no negotiating. I do that." So Sarah's like, "Look, I could pay you guys. Please just let us go with you," because they are definitely trying to make it out of here. And we know that Sara is on the run. The young girl we seen earlier, her name is Two Moon. And remember, she took a knife. Well, she's in her teepee with her mother. And then this gentleman comes in and tries to force his way on top of her. Now, her tongue is cut out, so she can't talk. But he tries to mount her. And that knife that she took, she protects herself. Now, while her mother is screaming, "Stop, don't do it," Two Moons had to do what Two Moons had to do and gave him 2 stabs. He fell off, and then 2 more, and then 2 more, and then she took off. So Two Moons had to protect herself because it ain't a full moon, it's a crescent moon. Thanks to Jacob's wife, she convinced Jacob to let Sara and Devin tag along because they have 3 horses and they have their own coach. When they leave, they end up seeing Isaac just sitting on the side of the road. He's looking at them like, "Man, y'all don't even know what y'all getting into. You riding out here with them Mormons," and Jacob already said more bodies, they might get turned away. So we're gonna have to see how this adventure takes off. But Isaac, if he's out in the woods just sleeping and living, I'm sure he knows the terrain better than anybody. Time is passing on this journey. It's like the Oregon Trail. Well, Sara says, "Hey, it's getting a little cold out here, Devin. Go and get one of those blankets for us. It's cold." When Jacob goes back there, you know he has that brace on. He goes back there and he sees a boot up under the blankets. When he moves the blanket, what does he see? Two Moons. And Two Moons got that knife. And she's like, whoa, what's going on here? Now, she can't speak, obviously. But he's like, "Whoa, shh. Are you hurt? You could just stay here." So Sarah's, "Are you good? Did you find it back there, Devin?" He's like, "Yeah, here I come, Ma." So Two Moons is along for the ride. On this journey on the Oregon Trail, we see how close Jacob and his wife are. And they're riding here and they're holding each other's hands. And he's basically telling her, "I can't live without you. There's nothing in this world I would do without you by my side. I will protect you from anything. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low." He's basically telling her, "I live for you." And they're definitely in love. And you're on this Oregon Trail, you don't have nothing but time to talk to each other until you reach your destination. Back at Bridger's Fort, Jim is sitting down smoking a nice cigar, and this bounty hunter shows up and says, "Hey, I got this bounty in St. Louis. They're looking for her. She done came from the East Coast, murder and robbery." Now, the name on this bounty is Sara Holloway. We know her as Sara Rowell. Now, Jim sees this and he sees that the reward is $1,500. I don't know if that's dead or alive, but he tells the bounty hunter, "No, I haven't seen her." Because right now, remember, he's over here. This is his fort. This is how he lives, and he doesn't want anybody to mess up his business because he was trying to get business to Isaac. And people stop here, and if they hear that bounty hunters come and collect people from this fort, then all of the immigrants, they're not going to want to settle here or stop here. Now remember, this is the Wild Wild West. They are over in Utah, and the governor is bringing him young. Now he sends out this guy Wosley, and he's talking to the people that are sitting here that started their little settlement and asking them, hey, do y'all have a permit to be out here? Well, the head guy over here is like, we don't have no permit. Tell the governor we ain't taking no permits, and we'll leave in the morning time. We just here right now. Now Wosley's like, nah, y'all gotta leave ASAP. But the guy, he says, I got 60 guns on me. So unless y'all don't get the hell out of here, there's gonna be some bodies dropping because we outnumber you. So Wosley, he's like, all right, we're gonna leave, but just know you need a permit to be on this land. Now the guy that's in charge of this settlement, remember the Mormons, they just got here. So what they're gonna do is keep a couple guns up overnight, meaning more people are gonna be on watch. And he's saying, put the Mormons on the perimeter in case the people come back, the government, in case the government comes back, have the Mormons on the perimeter so if they get to shooting, they'll take out all the Mormons first. So, I mean, they are protecting the Mormons, but at the same time, they're using the Mormons as protection for themselves. Everyone's sitting around getting to know each other. Sara and Devin are sitting there talking to Pratt and all the other Mormons, asking them where they from. Now, she told everyone her name is Sara Rowell. We know it's Sarah Holloway. But when she says her last name, this gentleman over here is like, hey, you're a Rowell? My family's a Rowell. And he has a pocket watch. She's like, yeah, is your family from Illinois? Because that's where mine is from. Now, she's lying, talking about her husband's family is scattered with the wind. But you see this pocket watch? Keep the time, okay? That's all I'm gonna say is keep the time. But she's getting caught up in her story because her last name isn't Rowell. Devin got up and didn't eat all of his beans and eggs, but he takes the rest of it over to the coach and he gives it to Two Moon because she's in the back and he's like, you're probably hungry. Here you go. But you gotta remember, this is the 1800s, so I guess these beans and eggs just sounds like a wonderful breakfast. While they're sitting there eating dinner, well, this is the Wild Wild West, and this is where it gets crazy. Well, remember the cavalry? They didn't came back, but they didn't came back with some Native Americans also, and they are terrorizing this whole settlement. All the coaches are on fire, people are going at it, hatchets are getting thrown, pow, pow, pow. Guns are going off. It's crazy out here. Then we see Sara and Devin hop up under a coach. And man, when I tell you it is going down, the best thing to do at this moment is either run or try to play dead. It's out of control. You got cattle running everywhere. And we're seeing some of these white folk got hoods on their head. Now, this is before the Klan, but they got hoods on their head. And the Native Americans are helping also. Then you see this big ass cattle coming and it tears up the coach that Devin and Sara are hiding up under. So now they got to get a move on it. Up in the hills, Isaac Reed was watching this whole time. Remember, he was sitting on the side of the road? Well, he knew it could get hectic out here. Sara and Devin run out into the woods. The cavalry's talking about, hey, go get them. We can't have any witnesses. We don't want anyone to know that this is on us. Because at this point, they're trying to blame everything on the Native Americans. And since these were white folk that worked for the governor of Utah and they killed Americans, well, the Mormons and the immigrants, it's going to look bad. No one's going to want to come to Utah. So they run into the woods. They're getting chased. Isaac Reed finds Sara and Devin, puts them on the horses, puts them behind some trees. Shh, be quiet. He got that thing ready in case they get stumbled on. Isaac ready to take them out. He the real deal. During the raid, let me tell you, Jacob Pratt, he almost got scalped. I'm talking about they started it from one side, they changed his line. You know when people say that their hairline is pushed back, they pushed his hairline forward. But fortunately for him, they didn't successfully scalp him. And when he wakes up, it's devastation. Everything's burned down. And the primary thing for him is his wife is missing. But we know that all of the women, they got sold off to the Native Americans. All right, there you go. Episode 1 of American Primeval. I've told you there's some action in this, and it's non-stop action. There's a lot of moving parts, and I hope you guys keep up. I'm gonna try to break it down, make it as simple as possible, but this is episode 1. Tune in tomorrow for episode 2. But before we get out of here, let me know what you think about this. Would you be able to survive in the Wild Wild West? If you played Oregon Trail before, you know pick the banker because you get that extra money. Well, let me tell you, none of these guys are bankers, so it's rough on them pockets. But let me know what you think about this so far. I'm MoedotJ. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. See you tomorrow for episode 2 of American Primeval. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.